Hello, YouTubers. This is Robert Brizendine5 here with a kind of a video of the history of, I guess it's quasi-history of Magic the Gathering. I'm going to try and make this short and simple. I wanted to, in this series, it's not really, I'm not going to start at the beginning. I may just kind of randomly jump around upon topics. This video is going to be about the Planeswalkers. The Planeswalkers as we know them, other than Nicol Bolas, every other one except for Nicol Bolas is kind of a drop in the bucket. Hence why, if anyone's read the books, like Agents of Artifice and Test of Metal and Alara Unbroken and things like that, just any of the Time Spiral books and pretty much any of the books. Nicol Bolas, I think he was in the Legends too. Nicol Bolas is I guess now at least in Test of Metal, he was starting to get a little bit senile and kind of old because he is the first in a way. Even the almighty Jace the Mind Sculptor can't do anything to him. I mean, Nicol Bolas makes them think they are. I mean, he's what Planeswalkers used to be. They used to be gods. Like Karn, created an entire world. If you read the Nutered books, it's interesting because originally it was mathematically perfect. Nutered was mathematically perfect. It was a world of metal that was perfectly smooth and perfectly spherical. Everything was just perfect in shape. It didn't really. I mean, there were trees, but they didn't look like trees. They just looked like cylinders. It took Memnarch to actually kind of change things around. But anyway, then before he went crazy and was infected by the Varexin oil. But anyway, Planeswalkers used to be godlike beings, like Urza and Mishra. Urza especially. Urza and Nicol Bolas before things got kind of twisted around with the direct destruction of Phyrexia and all the stuff that happens in the Time Spiral block, and just everything just gets all screwy and the ether gets kind of screwed. Before then, like Roxabox I mentioned in the video, Lord Windgrace, they were super godlike beings. Like tapping into the ether would not drain them. There's a book called Arena where in the Magic book series where you're introduced to Garth One Eye. He just kind of appears and disappears, and he has these godlike powers, and basically they all start out as wizards who at some point the spark is ignited and they can transcend through time. I mean, this guy, at least for the most part in the book Arena, he gets kind of beat up and yada yada yada, but towards the end he becomes like all powerful. It's kind of one of those playing things against each other things. It's a really good book. I actually may reread it. And then later in the next series, as I'll just call it the Whispering Woods trilogy, he actually pops up because his wife. Anyway, he pops up again, and he's very godlike. He ends up helping Greensleeves in a way. They used to have so much power that they could create worlds like Karn did. They could think like, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Bam, gone. Now the Planeswalkers have to concentrate just to planeswalk. If anyone's read any of the actual Planeswalkers novels, like The Purifying Fire and In the Teeth of a Calm, things like that, they have to sit there and think about plane shifting now because the ether is it's not what it used to be. Which is probably why, if you look back at a lot of the Magic cards, I mean, we have powerful cards now, but if you look at a lot of the older Magic cards, it kind of almost reflects in the game itself. A lot of the older Magic cards are just really powerful, like Time Walk. 1 blue and 1 colorless, take an extra turn. Simple. super powerful. Um, now we have cards like, I guess, Time Warp, but Time Reversal, which is a crap card. Even in EDH is not fun. Uh, but before the Ether got kind of screwed up, the Planeswalkers were just godlike beings. And then and I encourage everyone to read the Artificer cycle of books, the Brothers War, Urza Mishra, because it's just a great read. And that any of the Time Spiral books are just, they're so good. Because you get a real understanding of an introduction to all these characters that I'll be mentioning, like Lord Windgrace, and even in the older books, and like Limdal and Yawgmoth. You get to learn more about the actual Yawgmoth, and how the Phyrexia now is different than what it was when it first started. I mean, bearing in mind that he only really had the Thran to turn into the Phyrexians and whatnot. If you read, I just reread the book. The Thran, which was a really good book. He was basically a snake oil salesman. I'm digressing greatly here. Anyway, yeah. So the Planeswalkers aren't as powerful as they used to be. Jace, Liliana, all them. They're shadows of people or Planeswalkers like Nicol Bolas. And even now, Nicol Bolas he's weaker than he used to be. Before all this stuff happened with the Ether, I mean, he's thousands of years old. Before all this happened with the Ether, he was the puppet master of the whole thing. He was. None of the other Planeswalkers have ever come to being as powerful as he is. Even Urza, I don't think is as powerful or was as powerful as Nicol Bolas. I'm still waiting for them to actually make an Urza Planeswalker card. I mean, there was the Vanguard card, but yeah, and they did a card for Mishra in Time Spiral series. They should do Urza as a Planeswalker. That'd be really cool. Anyway, they're just not. And don't get me wrong, I like the new Planeswalkers. The cards are cool. Their stories are even better. Like Agents of Artifice was a great book, especially if you got it when it came out. You got that really cool version of Jace. That's what, like $150 now or something like that. Thing rocks. I got one with my Mind Sculptors. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I was going with this. Kind of rambled around, but it's just the Planeswalkers at one point used to be very powerful, and it was reflected in the game. And it's weird. I kind of like the way they went though. They made them seem less godlike and more just kind of powerful wizards. I mean, they're still pretty godlike compared to most people, especially Liliana with the Chain Veil. And Jace with his mind magic, which is an extremely rare form of magic in the magic mythos. But they're still not as powerful. I'm actually hoping that maybe they'll switch things back for a little while, kind of like when the Marvel Universe turned into the Age of Apocalypse and then back again. Probably no one who remembers that. That would be kind of cool for like a brief period, just kind of like everything flip back over, like a new Time Spiral series or something like that, which would be interesting, like an alternate timeline, because then you could have these uber powerful Planeswalkers cards that would just be awesome. Granted, it may make the game unfair, but it'd still be kind of cool. Anyway, so I guess we'll call this episode number 1. I'm not really going to follow any. I mean, I am going to start from the beginning at some point, but I think I'm just going to kind of do a random musings for a little while. I think by the 3rd episode, I'll start from the beginning. We'll talk about mainly Dominaria and everything that's happened in Dominaria. There were a shit ton of sets that took place on Dominaria, so we'll be talking about that. I'll talk about what the Ether actually is and the multiverse itself. We will start at the beginning, and we'll discover Nicol Bolas's deranged plans, and I really want to spend a lot of time with Urza, because he by far is probably my favorite Planeswalker. They've never made a card for him aside from the Vanguard card, but when it comes to stories and stuff, it has to be Urza. I mean, there's just something about. I mean, he's an artificer, and he's just like this ultra Planeswalker. I mean, he's cool. Anyway, so see if I can find my cursor here. Until next time, YouTube, rate, comment, subscribe, and keep an eye out for more Magic history videos. Until next time.